This is Slam Hockey with your hosts, Peter Bojarinoff and Paul Swinbeck. Welcome to Jablam Hockey. I'm your host, Peter Bojarinoff. You can find me on Twitter at Russian98, and I'm with
Paul Zwambag. You can follow me on Twitter at Zwambag, ZWAMBAG. How's it going, everybody? Peter, how you doing?
I'm still feeling rough, but I'm working my way through it. I feel slightly better, less headache, but my throat is still not going away.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's still rough there, but we'll see.
I'm glad we're not in the same room.
Yes. All right. So, what about the crazy night that McDavid just had?
Yeah, we record this on Thursday night after the games are done, and yeah he is unbelievable. He showed his passing ability tonight.
Oh, yeah. Well, he knew somebody needed to get that. And that's the cool thing about it, though. He saw somebody else needed one more goal to get the hat trick, even though he could have got the hat trick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then he gave Eberle the puck to get the empty netter. That is sweet. And that's a hockey teammate.
Yeah, you normally see it from like veterans and stuff, and a 19-year-old to do that is pretty cool.
Yeah, a guy in his 19th hockey game as a pro?
Yeah. He's on pace. If he played a full season, he's on pace for like 95 plus points.
Yeah, I think it's like 99 now or something.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Wow. All right. We will talk more about that later on the show, especially when we talk about the trade market. But right now, let's get into what's trending also right now. Ryan Murray signed a new 2-year contract at roughly $2.8 million per season for the Blue Jackets, of course. That's a pretty good bridge deal, in my opinion, eh? Oh.
Yeah. He's definitely he's been hampered with injuries, so he hasn't played as much as other guys his age.
Last season.
Yeah. But 22 years old, 2 more years. Yeah, I think it's a great deal for both sides. I think.
Same here.
Yeah.
I think that gives him a good more time to figure out if he's a stud number 1 defenseman or maybe he's just a 2 or a 3 guy.
Yeah, and in 2 years, Jack Johnson and Fedor Tutin are up for UFA, so
they can figure out who they really want to keep and how much they're going to pay them.
Yeah, if they want to put the big money into Ryan Murray, then they take him, and if not, they move him. So I think it'll be great move by them. They're building lots of depth on that defense, so it'll be interesting to see what Seth Jones gets at the end of the year.
Will be a little interesting. We'll have to see and wait for that.
Yeah.
All right. Kadri, he got a slap on the wrist. A $5,000 fine from the NHL for the throat / gesture. I'm pretty sure he did a little more than that. I think he kind of yelled, "I'm going to kill you" or something.
Yeah.
I
think there was a couple F-bombs in there too. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. There's been other guys that have made the motion of throat slashing, so I think there's been a couple guys that got suspended, but it's all just been fines, so kind of
most of the fines. Yeah, I'm actually not surprised, and this is what I expected. The thing I'm kind of sad about a little bit is that's the max. Why is that the max? That's peanuts for a hockey player. It should be like at least $20,000 or something to really hurt their wallet. When you're giving a guy a $5,000 fine, he's making more than $4 million a season. What is that? Nothing. That's nothing.
Yeah, that's not even a paycheck.
So, I don't know. Did we even mention it last episode about the Kadri thing? I don't think we did we?
We kind of did. It happened the night we were recording, so we didn't really know anything about it. He kind of was woozy. They weren't sure if he had a concussion.
Yeah. That's right.
Too much
I'm not a fan of Kadri, and these are the things that he's done. And and the thing is, that's the only thing I was kind of like, maybe they might give him a suspension because he has a history. He's already had 2 suspensions before.
Yeah. I was hoping, in my personal reflection, I was hoping he was going to get suspended because it would help out my trade with you, or not trade my bet with you. So
Yeah,
didn't
we're gonna
happen.
have. So in that, the Kadri versus Gronk, Kadri's so close to beating Gronk's total.
Yeah, they're tied right now. So
They're tied. So Kadri just needs one more. Yes, in my opinion, for that specifically, yeah, I thought a real slap on the wrist would have been a nice 1 game suspension, just so he knows he shouldn't be doing this thing. In the other terms, though, Paul, I'm doing pretty well with Ovi's hat trick,
yes, yes, you
and now
are.
he's ahead of Kane with the goal totals, and you picked Kane, and I picked Ovechkin to have the most amount of goals by the end of the season.
Yeah, I'm not too happy about this.
So far, I'm on good pace to win both our friendly bets. We should make the next one. We'll make a next one next season. We'll figure out one for then. I'm sorry, not next season.
Whoa,
Next episode.
whoa! I was
That's
gonna say that's a long ways away. You
all
take
right.
your two
What?
wins. You take your 2 wins, and you just nope. I'm not betting
Yeah,
until
yeah.
next year. I see how it is.
I'm taking my ball home with me. I've got the lead.
Jeez.
All right, Paul. Did you see what Konopka tweeted?
No, I did not. What did he tweet?
Well, if people know, Zenon Konopka is the next player of the Minnesota Wild. Of course, he's been around the league. You know, a guy who fought a lot. He tweeted, "The Minnesota Wild have so much talent, all the pieces to be maybe a Stanley Cup champs. Wasting years. This isn't fair to the players or fans. Hashtag Yo has to go."
Oh wow.
Then with his very famous rabbit that he has, and it's the rabbit's holding a picture. Yo must go, a drawing with a little paw on a rabbit paw on the picture, and it's saying, "I'm not saying Mike Yo is a bad coach, but change is due in mini again. Hashtag Yo must go." Then a reporter asks, it might be Russo, who's a reporter for the Wild. Yo was asked about what Konopka said, and he says, "I really don't care what he thinks. I was really disappointed to see Hoppy holding that sign." So I guess he's, that was kind of lighthearted. At least he's disappointed to see his rabbit, who's very popular, holding that sign that says "Yo must go."
So do you think Mike Yo should go?
It's been time and time again, this issue, right? Didn't this happen last year when they were playing really, really poorly, and then he lashed out on them? Sometimes this takes a toll on players by a hard-nosed coach lashing out and lashing out and lashing out, and that's the only way they might break out of a huge slump. So it's happening again this year. Is he going to make a huge lash out again, maybe, and then they might wake up? Might be too late.
Yeah, I
Might be
remember.
time.
I remember firsthand last year because I went to the Minnesota Wild Pittsburgh Penguins game in Pittsburgh, and
Oh yeah,
Pittsburgh blew them out. I think like 5-1. And
yeah,
I was driving home and like listening to Pittsburgh radio, and like everybody was like, Mike Yo, he was an assistant coach with Pittsburgh for
yeah, yeah.
Michel Therrien, I believe, when he was there, and maybe Dan Biles. I don't recall. But anyways, yeah, and they were saying that Mike Yo was on the hot seat, and then he blew up over a practice. Do you remember that? He's
Yeah,
slapping his
yeah,
stick on the glass and going
exactly.
crazy, and then they turned their season around, and a lot of it had to do with Devin Dubnyk, but I think the whole team
Mhm.
just played better in general. So maybe this is a wake-up call that he's on the hot seat, and now he knows that he's on the hot seat, and
Yeah.
maybe the team will turn it around again, just like last year. So
We'll see what happens. But
yeah,
let's get into it. This is our team ISO for this episode. We're team ISOing the Minnesota Wild. You know what, Paul? At the beginning of the season, I actually had them maybe in a wild card spot in that 7 to 9 spot, looking for the playoffs, and that's basically where they are right now. But they're slumping, and it's looking worse and worse. They really are struggling, and it doesn't look like there's an end to the collapse anytime soon.
no, in the
I,
last 10, they're 1-7-2. That's
I
not
think
good.
they're like 7 straight losses and about 1 win in the last 13 games.
Oh man.
This is awful. I don't know. You know what, Paul? We'll get into this. We'll check with this. But I checked with NHL.com, and you can't do the standings by date thing anymore with this.
No, you can. I saw it on Twitter the other day. You have to go into the stats portion. I'm looking at the stats
Oh,
right now, and you have to do it through the stats, which is really, really
to
dumb.
see the standings.
Yeah,
That's weird. I was thinking they might have had that way, but I didn't check it. I was like, well, that's totally a reverse from their old format. So
yeah. Did you see Gary Bettman made a comment about NHL.com?
no,
Now
I
that we're
didn't.
on the
What do you
topic,
say?
he said that people just need to get used to change, and once they play around with the site, they'll actually enjoy the new look of the site.
Mhm.
I barely use it anymore. I go to
Yeah. You know what?
ESPN.
I'm still thinking, I'm still hoping that they're gonna fix these little glitches. I kind of like the look and everything. I think it's a little too open, especially when you're looking at standings and you can only see like seven teams on the screen and
Yeah,
stuff. I'm like, it's too open. It's like, what is this? A big ice surface, and we're just supposed to like, go up and down slow to see everything. So it's a little too open for me, and there's still a few things that they need fixed out. But I don't mind it in general, and usually it does take a while to adapt to things. So we'll see how it goes. But
my huge beef is the Rogers Game Center
yeah.
Live has changed, and it's
Hmm.
still poor. I tweeted about it a couple, maybe last week, and the VP of Rogers Game Center Live contacted me through a direct message and asked what I was like, what browser I was using, and what game and stuff. And he took the information and he said he's going to look into it and hopefully it'll help solve the problem. It has not. I don't know what he was planning
Hmm.
on doing. And I tweeted about it again
But
tonight that it's
yeah,
I can barely watch games. It's horrible, glitchy, really bad. They no longer they have the box score underneath the game now instead of like overlapping the game. It's just
hmm
I don't like it.
things the layouts in some parts are kind of odd, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
and
We'll see how it
the
goes.
box score, you if your window's not fully open, like I use like half windows so I can play around on one window and watch the game on the other window, and you can't even see the full box score of like the time on ice and stuff when the window's half
Yeah.
open because all of the other junk on the box score. So I'm just not a big fan of it. I use ESPN now, so that's where I get my
Hey,
box score information.
props to ESPN.
Yeah,
All right, getting back to our team ISO.
yeah. So
So, what's really happening with the Wild? Number one, you know what? They are in the toughest division in the NHL by far.
oh yeah,
With the emergence of the Dallas Stars, who are a huge powerhouse now, and already having two huge teams in the past 6 years with Chicago and St. Louis, it's a huge battle there now. It's like the old Norris division.
yeah,
So it's tough for them. But yeah, since January 9th, which is just over a month now, they only have one player that has more than two goals. Charlie Coyle is still playing well with 5 goals. Vanek, Koivu only have 1 goal each. Parise just has two, and only Suter has more than 6 points in that time period. That means basically nobody's at least a half a point a game or more in
yeah.
this period, other than Suter.
That's wild. How are you gonna? No pun intended. How are
Yeah,
you supposed to win games when your team's not scoring? Like that's
exactly.
it's just brutal.
Yeah. And then Dubnik as well has fallen back to earth.
Yeah,
He's been under 900 save percentage in that time frame. So nothing is going right their way right now. And again, overall the whole season, the only real bright spots are the continued growth of Coyle and Suter having another solid season. They're showing it still through this huge slump the team is having. They're the only ones that are really standing out. And you know what? Again, Charlie Coyle playing pretty well this year. He's already surpassed his goal total, and he should do the same with his points. And while he's still playing a pretty good, solid 2-week game. So, Paul, do you think they're going to be moving any players at this trade deadline?
I don't think so. I had a discussion with a friend the other day about
Yeah,
guys on like teams on the edge of playoffs or not playoffs and being
yeah,
sellers if you're in like ninth or 10th. And I just don't think teams can sell it to their fan base that they're sellers when they're sitting in ninth or 10th or 11th. Like if they're just out of the wild card, they got to push to try to make a wild card spot because anything can happen once you make it to the playoffs. Like an eighth seed team can definitely win the cup, as the Kings shown, and
Mm,
anything can happen if Devin Dubnyk goes hot for the month of April and May. Then by all means they can go deep. Like
yeah.
goaltending's so big in the playoffs that if you get a hot goaltender at the right time, anything can happen. So I don't think they're going to be sellers because they're going to be on that edge of wild card territory. So
Yeah. It's gonna be iffy. They don't really have anybody that they could move. Do you think maybe Dumba could be on the block?
no,
He definitely deserves a raise from what he's getting paid right now, and there isn't much cap room going
I
into maybe next season. Yeah, the only thing is Backstrom should be off the blocks. Off the cap hit. Of course, it's the end of his contract, and maybe a team might want a guy like him as the backup too, so he could be moved.
yeah, I don't think so. I think he's just going to be a
You know?
stud. He's starting to play much better hockey. I'm pretty sure he got a goal tonight on Thursday
Mm-hmm.
night.
He's playing better lately.
Yeah, I don't think they can move him unless they get a great
Uh,
offer that they can't
yeah,
refuse. I don't think they can do it.
I think if there's a team looking for a guy, that could play a bit offensive, little bit of a mix of both, and they have the space for a guy or ice time for a guy like him, why not go for him? And hopefully they don't want too much back.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Pominville might be a guy that they could move.
Yeah, him as well.
He's making a lot more money than what he should be.
That's the problem. Can some team maybe fit him under the cap, but hopefully it's not too much for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, as you saw with the Faniv trade, anything is possible. Like
Mhm.
he makes a ton of money too, and you never thought he would be able to be moved so easily.
Yeah, just yeah, it's a high cap hit for a guy like Palmerville. He's not producing. It's not looking good for him, and he's still got what 3 more years on his contract. So I don't know. I didn't think he could be moved. Maybe Vanek, depending on if they want to keep some cap hit back, he could be moved because he only got 1 more year left.
Yeah, you know who's got to turn up his game? Miku Koivu.
Yeah,
He started off really, really hot, but
yeah.
he is leading the team with 37 points.
Still,
But
but he slowed down the last. Yeah, just like most of these guys, he slowed down a lot in this last 13, 14 game stretch now.
yeah, Zach Parise's got to get going too.
Yeah, they all do. They
Man,
all do.
yeah, they do have a good roster on paper.
So
Don't know what's happening. That's weird. Oh, sorry.
yeah, maybe it is time to can the coach.
Yeah,
All right, let's get into their prospects. Who's the big stud for them? Joel Eriksson Ek,
yeah,
20th overall in 2015. Of course, being Swedish, it means he's good and he's a good two-way player.
yeah. And he's already playing with men, so he's playing in the Swedish Elite League, I believe. So
Yeah, with Farkstad.
yeah, so
Yep.
he should transition to the NHL pretty easily. So if they need to save on cap room, he's a guy that they could bring over.
Yeah, he should be probably playing on the team even as early as next season, probably.
Yeah,
He's really, really solid on his skates. For a young kid, too, already. He can handle the physical game of it, and he can score a lot because he drives the net often.
yeah. Another guy I
So,
really like is Alex Tuch, or Tuck Tuch. I think it's Tuch.
yes,
Right winger. He
he looks good.
played in the Beanpot tournament. By the way, I didn't find
Ah,
the end of the game,
what the
and
end?
Pierre
No,
Maguire
that
spoiled
sucks.
it on me anyway. So I was
Oh,
watching
yeah, of course.
the Penguins game. They were playing the Rangers on Wednesday night, and out of nowhere, he's just like, the Beanpot, blah blah blah. This was the score, 1-0 in overtime. Oh my God, such a great game.
Yeah,
And it's like, where did that come from? Why did you even need to talk about that? But that's Pierre
yeah,
Maguire for you. But Alex Tuch
yeah.
scored the game-winning goal, so it's awesome to
Yep.
see.
All right. Well, Paul, before we get into the usual so many more college prospects, how about their goalie prospect, Capo Kahanen? He looks good.
Yeah, he does look really good.
I know. He was drafted in the fourth round, 2014, but he moves very quick for a goalie.
Yeah, and their depth isn't beyond him. Their goalie depth isn't really great,
Hmm.
but he's Finnish, and Finnish goalies are really making a name for themselves in the NHL. So
Yeah. I think he could be an NHL starter within 2, 3 years. So hopefully he can become that goalie for them in the future because they're not sure who to go with now. Really, the Wild. I don't know. Dubnik not play. I don't know how well Dubnik is going to be steady NHL solid goaltender. I don't know. You think he's going to be good for them still in the future?
yeah, long term, yeah, they got him signed for
Yeah,
three,
a few
4,
years.
5 years. So
So I'm thinking he's good there for maybe 1 or 2 more years, and then transition to hopefully him in the future.
yeah,
So that might be a good time to transition him to become their starter in 2 to 3 years.
yeah. Another guy that I really like on the blue line, Mike Riley. He was a college free agent signing
Yep.
this year. Yeah, and he played a bit of AHL. Now he's been called up, and yeah, he's fitting on that blue line right now with Brodeen out and Scandella, I believe, is out, or
Hmm.
not? Maybe not Scandella. Yeah, it is Scandella that's out, or no, Spurgeon's out, I believe.
And Jared.
Yeah, so he's filling in roster there. So Mike Riley, yeah, he's going to be. I hope he doesn't end up like Justin Schultz, like another NCAA signing, undrafted
Hmm.
guy that is hyped up so much and then just ends up not being that great. So hopefully Mike Riley
Hmm.
doesn't end up like that. So other
Yeah,
than
they've got
that,
a few.
their rest of their prospects are kind of. I'm not sure if they're going to be ever make it to the NHL. If they do, they're going to be depth guys. Definitely, they won't be high end talent.
Yeah, they still got a few other guys. Greenway looks like he could be pretty good. Again, another college guy. They've got a few college guys that could be pretty good. And Gustav Olofsson, he could be a pretty good defenseman as well for them in the future. And
Yeah,
I think he's already played a couple of games, so we'll see.
yeah,
We'll see. But I think they have a decent prospect pool for them. Not the greatest. There's still a lot of teams way ahead with prospects, but they've got a good group of them.
yeah. I would say they're in the bottom half, not in
Yeah.
the top half of prospects. Just in my opinion.
Hmm. So good luck to them. But yeah, what do you think? You don't think they're going to make the playoffs then this
Nope,
year?
nope. I'm still
Yeah,
sticking with the 8 teams that are in the
still in there.
Western are going to make it there.
Hmm. Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to get out of this huge slump that they're in right now.
Yeah,
Alrighty, let's move on. Trade rumors. So number one, the Kings just put Christian Ehrhoff on waivers, and now they're looking for a defenseman. Kind of odd.
yeah. How does that work? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I guess he just wasn't good enough for them. I know in the offseason when they got him for that, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Might work out, but I guess some guys just don't work out, especially for the Kings. So they're looking for somebody out there.
Unless they're looking for like a 5-6 defenseman, like a shutdown role, because they got a lot of guys that can move the puck, like Muzzin, Doughty,
Yeah.
Martinez. Like maybe they're looking for a veteran backstop that can shut a first line down. So
Yeah.
and maybe relieve Doughty of playing those tough minutes. So
Yeah. More defenseman. Yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah,
Uh, and then the Oilers are looking to sell.
yes,
So, you know what? My friend, Mr. Rue, he wants to know if Eberle is on the block now. So, what do you think, Paul? I don't know. The way he's been clicking with McGoliath, as I call him, Connor, it's tough. But his stock is really high right now. And that's my favorite time to sell.
I don't think they're gonna get rid of Eberle.
Yeah.
I think the guy that's gonna go is Ryan Nugent Hopkins.
Oh, you think the Nuge could be moved now?
Yeah, they got their Draisaitl and McDavid down the middle, and RNH can go. and I think they can get a lot for him because teams could be looking for center depth. So yeah, I think he's the guy that's going to go.
Yeah, you think it's Nuge?
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I think Nuge will be easier to move, in my opinion, too. I think he's going to have a little bit more value, in my opinion, than Eberle.
yeah, I agree.
But right now, Eberle's stock might be at even, I would say, just because how well Eberle's playing right now. And that might, in my opinion, that's the best time to trade a guy, is when he's playing really well. There was rumors earlier to trade Eberle because he wasn't playing well,
Yeah,
and that's not a good time to trade him. So I don't know. As a part of Oiler Nation, maybe they might rather have Eberle being traded. But again, he's a winger, and they've got a lot of young centers that are trying to fill in those roles. So I don't know. It's tough to say. But I was thinking that maybe they could trade a guy like Eberle or even maybe Nuge now for like a Dion. People were thinking that was a rumor. Maybe go to Edmonton. Of course, now that Dion's gone. Another fit that might be perfect might be Hamonic.
yeah.
Maybe Hamonic for Eberle or now Nuge, or maybe even with Schultz, getting Schultz in that if it's not enough to give because they're a team like the Islanders they still want I think a more of a defenseman back than forwards, because I think they feel they have their top main forwards in there. So I think they might want a defenseman, but Schultz might not be it. But again, getting a guy like Nuge as well might be a good fit for them.
Yeah, yeah, I can see Schultz being moved as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not what he was hyped up to be. Like I said
Yeah,
earlier
and
when I was talking about Riley, I just don't.
maybe a change of scenery for Schultz might do him a lot better.
Yeah,
So I don't. But again, the cap room. Again, moving. I was thinking about Eberle or even Nuge to the Islanders could make them the highest paid forward on the Islanders, because Tavares has a nice low contract with a cap hit of I think it's like $5.5 million.
yeah,
So that might be a little hard for them.
which is crazy that he's making 5.5. Like,
We'll see, but I think that would be a good place for both teams if Hamnick wants to live closer to home, and then Edmonton gets something like a good defensive defenseman who's still young and in his prime would be good for the Oilers right now. So I don't know. I think that would be a great trade for maybe both teams. Oh well. And then of course, Yandel now is off the block because of the McDonough injury.
yeah.
How long is McDonough going to be out, Paul?
Well, it's a concussion, so it could be weeks, it could be days. Those concussions, they still don't have them figured out, which is crazy. Like, I don't know, and I think it's going to hurt the Rangers in the long run. McDonough's a pretty big stalwart on the back end, so luckily they have Henrik Lundqvist, who is unreal. Like, they give up so many chances. They played Pittsburgh on Wednesday night, and we outplayed them like crazy.
But again, the Pens are playing really well right now.
Yeah, and Lundqvist just shut us down. It was all him. Like, the Rangers did not do anything to stop us. It was just Lundqvist was so good.
Yeah, well, when McDonough's out and Pittsburgh's on fire, it's going to be hard to try to stop them. But, that guy can do a lot of good things. Hank, between the pipes.
Yeah.
All right, let's go, Paul. Your fantasy up and down for the episode.
All right. Speaking of McDonough, he's one guy that's out, so I'm going to give you a defenseman. Another guy, Petrangelo's out for a while, so if you need a defenseman, Matt Dumba, we talked about him earlier, he is playing great hockey. The past 2 weeks, he's got 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points. 4 of those are on the power play, and 10 shots from the back end. That's pretty good for
It's
your
a perfect
defenseman.
time to trade him then. His stock is high.
Yeah. I don't think he's getting traded. He's only 11% owned, so you're very likely going to get him in your league. So if you got a if you got McDonough or Pietrangelo, go out and try and get Dumba.
Yeah,
See if
or
he's
if
on
you
the
have
waiver wire.
Dumba and you might be able to get somebody better than him,
That's
you can
true.
trade him for something better.
That's true. You can trade him in fantasy. You really want to trade Dumba? Jeez. Another guy that's playing awesome hockey, JT Miller from the Rangers.
Yeah.
Past 4 games, 4 goals, 1 assist for 5 points. He's ranked
Wow.
70th in the past 2 weeks. He's
Yeah.
only 18% owned. How is that?
What about Brad Marchand? Do you have him on the list?
I do not have him on the list because
Oh,
he
he's on
is,
fire.
yeah,
What does
he
he
is.
have? Like,
He's playing unreal, but his ownership is quite high. I don't
quite
think you're
high.
going to get
Yeah.
him very easily off the waiver wire. But
Yeah.
and
He's
he,
got like 11 goals in 11 games or something.
yeah, it's crazy. Benoit Pouliot playing with McDavid. Ride those coattails. He's only
Yeah.
13% owned. He's
Oh,
got
yeah.
five
When you're
points
playing
in
on the top line.
5 points in the last 4 games. That doesn't count Thursday night. I didn't update my stats, but I think he got another
Once he got
three.
3 assists.
Yeah, 3 assists. So
3 apples. Woo!
yeah, and a goalie. You need a goalie. Jonas Corpusalo. Columbus is starting to play much better hockey. They finally climbed out of the basement. Haha, Toronto Maple Leafs. You're now in the
Yes.
basement.
Woo! Tank Nation loves it.
Yeah, and Columbus is starting to play a little bit better hockey. So Jonas
Yeah.
Corpusalo, if you need a goalie, 11% owned. He's playing real well. So
Yep.
some fantasy downs. Brian Little is not playing very good hockey lately. Past 2 weeks, he's only got a goal and a -2, 8
And that
shots
was
on
a
goal.
gift.
Yeah, so I would not be
If you,
putting him in
if
my
you, if
roster.
you haven't seen that highlight, Paul, I say go check it out. I think it was to Elliott. Elliott tried to grab it in the air. It was going way over the net. Instead, he bunts it forward right in front of him, and all Little had to do was tap it in. It was
Yeah,
hilarious.
so if that didn't happen, he would have 0 points in the past two
Exactly.
weeks. Andrei Markov is not playing good hockey as well.
Yeah.
1 goal, 1 assist in the past 2 weeks, so that's not helpful in your back end. So, and the guy we talked about earlier, Miku Koivu, just 1 point in the past 2 weeks. That is brutal. And
Sting.
a centerman. There are a ton of centermen out there that are much better than Miku Koivu. He's 43% owned, so I would drop Miku Koivu if I had him and try and find something else. Ride the hot hand of like Pouliot or JT Miller. Once they go cold, you can just move on and go back to the waiver wire. Pick up another guy. Another guy, I keep harping on this because his ownership's not changing. Jimmy Howard's still 48% owned. There's no way he should be that owned in any league.
Those are the people that they don't listen to anybody. They made their picks. They're not making any moves. They don't check their picks often. They don't listen to podcasts, Paul. These guys are just like, what? I made my picks at the beginning of the season. They're good.
Yeah, I drafted Jimmy Howard in the 7th round, so I got to keep him. No, get rid of him. He's not playing. And when he does play, he's played 1 game in the past 2 weeks. 5.15 goals against average, 844 save percent. Why would you want him on your roster?
Because I like Howard the Duck, man.
Oh, maybe he'll get traded to the Leafs or somebody else because they got Peter Mrazek. No, get rid of him. It's
Yep.
ridiculous.
You're not kicking Mrazek out of the crease right now. He's unstoppable right
he
now.
is putting his name into the Vezina Trophy candidate. So,
Yep.
Howard, get rid of him. If his ownership's not down next week when we do fantasy ups and downs, I'm harping on him again. I want it lower than 30%. That guy should not be owned. That's all I got for
All
you,
right.
Peter.
All right, let's get into a few injuries. Big ones. Again, Canucks are getting hammered with injuries. Sutter's out again. Brandon Sutter, broken jaw. And Alex Edler, fibula fracture.
Yeah.
This is going to be huge. They really haven't said how long they're out, but it's pretty recent news. So it's a big hit to the Canucks because they're still fighting for maybe a playoff spot.
Yeah, and that just helps Bo Horvat play more hockey, and that helps Ben Hutton play more hockey. Ben Hutton's a great defenseman. He's going to be pretty good. Maybe not a stud, but he's going to be pretty good. So I think he's going to fill in Edler's spot pretty well. So
Yeah. And then Tampa Bay now, They lost Garrison. He's going to be out for 3 to 5 weeks. That's a big hit to their blue line.
Yeah, the injury bug is going around. There's quite a few injuries that
Who
are
are the other
long.
big names there, Paul?
Well, Petrangelo we mentioned
Yeah, yeah, last episode.
3 weeks. Brodin, Jonas
Ooh,
Brodin
yeah,
with
that
the
is rough.
Wild out 3 to 6 weeks with a broken foot.
Wow.
So that's not good. Malkin's out another 2 games. He's still got that lower body injury. Rick Nash, who knows what's going on with him?
Yeah, they don't know.
He's
It's
just
just they're delaying it every game. It's all a one game thing. Just maybe next game, maybe next game. So
yeah. Eric Goodbranson on the Panthers, he was placed on IR with an upper body injury. So
yeah,
just a ton of injuries, just not
yeah.
good.
Did you
Sean
hear about? Go ahead.
Sean Couturier, 4 weeks with a
Yeah,
lower body injury. That hurts
that's
the
right.
Flyers trying to push for a playoff spot. So
Yeah. Did you hear about PK Subban's brother?
yeah, his
Wow.
larynx. Oh
Yeah,
man.
playing for I guess Providence, right? He's playing in the NHL for
Yeah.
the Bruins.
Yeah.
Sent him down, and ouch, that's tough. So he had surgery, and it looks like it was successful, but he's going to be out long term
Yeah.
to let that heal.
Hopefully that doesn't stunt his growth. Cause man,
Yeah,
he's going to be a really good goalie in the NHL. It's just he's behind Tuukka Rask. So
yeah,
unless Tuukka falls apart or gets hurt, or Jordan Span's going to be out a
yeah,
while. That's too bad. He was having a pretty good year in Providence too. So
yeah. All right, we'll see. And yeah, the Kings have Jonathan Quick day to day, but you think that's more of a just letting him relax for a bit, eh?
yeah, I have a feeling it's more maintenance days and they
Yeah,
can afford it. Well, I guess no team can really afford it, but they're got a 6 point lead in the Pacific,
in
and
that division, yeah,
yeah,
good time for it.
They're 11 points ahead of Vancouver, who's in fourth. So
Yeah, even though they're what I think they might be even playing like teams like the Leafs maybe or something. So some weaker teams maybe and let him rest for a bit.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So all right, let's get into Saturday's picks, Paul.
Oh man,
Oh yeah,
we got to get better at Saturday's picks. By the way,
we gotta get better. This I was looking at this week. I'm like, this is a tough week.
I know,
This
and
this oh man, February 13th, Saturday's picks. This is tough. First game in the lineup at 1 p.m. The NBC game. I love watching these games, and I've got to go again with it. I'm calling it for it to be an OT game for the Devils at Philly. I'm really not sure who's going to win this one, but I'm going to go with the home team in Philly to play it safe. Both of them fighting for a playoff spot, fighting for their lives. So it's going to be a tight one. So I'm thinking Philly in overtime. What about you, Paul?
all right, my game plan this week. I didn't do any research. I just picked them because doing research, I've landed with a 16-26 record. So I went with the Devils. Just a hunch play. Schneider's
Yeah,
gonna play, hopefully. Yeah, I'm going with
yeah,
the Devils.
yeah. You know what? It's one of my big toss-ups. Yep. Then we got next at 2 p.m. We got the Bruins at Minnesota.
Yeah,
Who'd you go with, Paul?
we talked about how terrible the Wild are playing right now, and
Yeah,
I'm going with the Bruins.
yeah. I went with the Bruins too. You know what? Minnesota's going to break out of it soon, but I don't see it coming this soon. So I went with Bruins as well. Then we got Leafs at Vancouver. You know what? I got to go with Canucks. I don't know how the Leafs can win these games unless Reimer steals a win for the Leafs. But it might be an overtime game just because it's a Saturday game and Leafs like to play a little better on Saturdays, but I'm still thinking Canucks. Do you?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Canucks. There's no way I'm picking the Leafs with their lineup right now. Their first line is a third, maybe fourth line in any other team.
Are
So,
you saying what do you mean? The Leafs are getting improvements now. They're getting Colin Greening maybe in the lineup. They're
oh
going to be a
jeez,
powerhouse.
oh jeez.
All right, let's move on next. The Predators at Florida. What do you have, Paul?
I got the Panthers.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really enjoy watching the Panthers, and yeah, I'm picking the Panthers because I like to cheer for teams that I like watching. So, going with the
yeah.
Panthers.
Same here. Well, same here. I'm going with Florida. They're playing pretty well at home too. and their team's good. So, and either goalie, if they put in Montoya, he's as good as Luongo out there. So they're both playing really well this
Well, I
season.
wouldn't say as good as Luongo. Luongo's pretty good, but
But I mean, this season, the way Montoya has been playing for them,
yes,
he has
he's
been oddly enough. Yes, Montoya's usually not a very good goalie, but this season he's played very well for them.
yeah, he's been a stellar backup. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. The Islanders at Carolina. This is another one of my toss-up games, just because Carolina's at home and Islanders they're fighting for a playoff spot. Is Carolina. They're almost in there. It's a toss-up for me, and I'm going to go with Carolina. I'm not too sure about this one, but I'm going to go with Carolina.
I
You?
also went with Carolina.
Yeah. I know you're not a fan of Islanders. You think they're going to fall out of a playoff spot.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Islanders find ways to win some of these kind of games. So it's going to be close. But yeah, we're both going to Carolina.
Yep.
All right. Ottawa at Columbus. Who do you have, Paul?
Oh, what a barn burner of a game. Ottawa
Yeah.
versus Blue Jackets. Oh, jeez. I will not
Oh,
be
yeah.
watching this game on Saturday night. I'm going with the Blue Jackets. Like I said,
Yeah.
they're starting to play better hockey, so
Yeah.
yep.
Same here. It's a bit of a toss up again for me. This is another tough one because Ottawa is not playing that well lately. Maybe it's the curse of the Leafs with the Dion Phaneuf trade. I don't know. But I'm also going with Columbus on this one.
Did you see him
All right.
get Did you see him get walked around
Oh
by
my
the Red
God,
Wings?
yes.
Oh
Gustav
man.
Nyquist. He does it to players often, though.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He does it to players often. But yes, it happened to Phaneuf last game
Yeah.
against
He
the
had a pretty
Wings.
good he had a pretty good Thursday game, so
Yeah. Phaneuf actually played pretty well that game.
yeah.
He played really well. I think he ended up with, what, two apples or something?
Yeah, I think so.
So he had a good game, but everybody highlighted that
So you went with the
part of it.
You went with the Blue Jackets
Huh?
beating the Senators?
Yes, I'm also going with the Blue
All
Jackets.
right.
All right. Washington at Dallas. This is going to be a game to watch.
Yep.
Both teams playing well this season. Washington's on top. Dallas is playing great. I'm going to go with the visitor. Going to go with the Capitals.
Oh
What about you, Paul?
wow. I'm going with the Stars.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be tough. It's going to be exciting, too. Should be a lot of goals, in my opinion. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're both split on that one.
Did you see Patrick Eves almost doubled his goal total in one game? He had
No, I didn't see that.
he scored 4 goals all year, and he got a hat trick on Thursday night
Oh, wow.
against the Blackhawks. Yeah, he's playing really good hockey right now. He's playing with Ben and Sagan, so obviously he's going to put up
Wow, Eves
points.
is playing on the top line?
Yeah, they've moved him up there for the past 3 or 4 games. So
Good for him.
and
He would be a good fantasy pickup then.
he's producing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Surprised you didn't mention him in the pickups. All right. Next, Winnipeg at Edmonton. I really don't know how you can't go Oilers right now with how hot McDavid is making his team play.
yeah, I'm
So
going with the Oilers as well.
we both struck out last week when somehow the Oilers lost to the Habs, who are now somehow playing better with Scrivens playing better.
Yeah.
But we're going to go with Oilers again, it looks like, both of us. All right, and then I think this is the last game. It's Arizona at San Jose. What do you have, Paul?
I'm going with the Sharks. They're playing really
Yeah.
good hockey. They just keep scoring. They did lose to Calgary in shootout on Thursday night, but they're a scoring machine.
Yeah. I'm going with the same thing. San Jose is playing really good hockey right now, and they're pretty good at home as well. So, gonna go with San Jose. It's you know what? It's a tough week. I think it could easily go either way on a lot of games actually.
Well,
So
if everybody's looking at the schedule, you missed a game. Come on, Peter.
I missed another game this week. This is like
Uh,
I think this happened at least once before.
Anaheim versus Chicago. Who are you going with?
Oh, I got to do this on top of my head then.
Yep.
Anaheim versus Chicago. Anaheim's playing really well right now, and Chicago is unstoppable at home. So I got to go with Chicago because Chicago's a really good home team.
Oh, they got beat Thursday night by Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Ducks. The Ducks are playing much better hockey as well, so
hmm
I'm
But the
going
Ducks aren't a very good away team, right? So I don't think they're that good away.
10, 11, and
But
4. Not bad. under 500, I guess.
Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm going Blackhawks and you're going Ducks.
Yep.
That's our Saturday's picks. And again, remember, folks, we always post it on our Facebook group for Jablam Hockey, so go check us out there.
Yeah, you can see all of our horrible picks from previous weeks. Do you know
All
what
right,
our
Paul,
record?
do you have a... Go ahead.
Do you know what our record is for Saturday's picks? Have you been keeping track?
I haven't been, but I know you have.
Yep. I'm 16 and 26, which is terrible, and
Yep.
you are 19 and 23. So you're leading.
I
right
had
now.
a really... Last week was really rough, I remember.
Yeah, 3 and 9. You went last week, so.
Yeah, I know. I was above 500 going into last week, and I had a really bad week.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking good. I don't have a good feeling about a lot of games this week too. So we'll see what happens, though. Hopefully. All right. And so, Paul, do you have a prospect of the week for us?
I do, and pretty much everybody listening probably knows this guy. Ivan Provorov is the prospect of the week. He's Philadelphia's first round pick, 7th overall. Russian kid, playing for the Brandon Wheat Kings.
Yep.
Who are turning it up. That whole team is starting to play really well. They're pushing for the Memorial Cup. Remember way back when I said Brandon Wheat Kings built for the Memorial Cup? They're starting to show it. They are really playing well, and Provorov is leading them. 2 goals, 7 assists in 3 games. That's 9 points. Yeah.
That's huge.
3 points per game last week. So,
Amazing.
yeah, he's playing unreal. So, yeah, the prospect of the week, Ivan Provorov.
Nice. All right, folks. Well, like I said, we have our Jablam Hockey and our Facebook group. Go check us out there. And again, we're on Twitter as well with Jablam Hockey. And again, go check us out. Podomatic, iTunes, Blueberry, Stitcher. We're out there. We're everywhere. Subscribe, rate, and review us, please. That helps us out a lot. Okay, for next episode, check us out. We are going to be team ISOing the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, man.
And we have the beginning of the new segment going into the final stretch of the trade deadline next week. For our next episode, we're going to be talking about trade deadline sellers. The teams that are out who look like they're going to be sellers, and we're going to name 1 or 2 players for each team who are they going to be traded. And it'll continue with Paul as I'm going on vacation after next episode. And he's going to be continuing that, talking about players on the block for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
See you then.
Bye.